What's up, all you beer drinkers and song listeners? Welcome back to BYO Beats. We are in our second week of January. Happy New Year, I guess. It's 2 weeks ago. But either way, we are on to the Guilty Pleasure, and I'm excited for this episode because I believe I know both of... No. The first one is just so great and so silly. And then the second one is so freaking amazing. So let's get into it with... the beers, your beer listeners, if you will. We're going back to Michigan beers, just slightly different region, to New Holland. Yes, because New Holland is not Holland.
They're different. They are different.
Yes. The choice was Dragon's Milk. What? Oh crap! I forgot.
What I got?
Yeah, triple mash. That's
triple mash.
Yeah, triple mash, which I don't know what it means. What does triple mash mean?
Mash is a whiskey thing, right? Or a bourbon thing?
I believe so, which would make sense since it's a barrel-aged stout. I think I saw at some point how long they have this aging, but yeah, it's a 1 year in bourbon barrel-aged. Bourbon barrels, and it is a limited edition 2024 release.
Very nice.
And it is a nice and easy 18.7%.
18?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can
smokes.
just focus on that, but yeah, it's 1.7.
Wow.
Super cool. I thought I was going to be the winner of the ABV contest with 11. I've got Dragon's Milk Reserve Oatmeal Cookie because I couldn't find the triple mash. I'm assuming because it's a limited release, probably not all of your Total Wines are stocked with that. And if they do get stocked, they probably run out quick. So
yeah, I was not able to get the Dragon's Milk in my mix of six, so I got something more local out here. This is from Tight Knit Brewing Company out of Greeley, Colorado. This is Barrel Elixir. It's a bourbon barrel aged winter warmer, it says, from 2023. So it's been aging, 11.6, and it's actually a Christmas ale. So pairs well with the snow that we've gotten this week.
Happy Christmas.
Happy Grimace. Yeah, cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I won't say it again. If you caught it last time, good for you.
Yeah, I definitely taste my my cinnamon and my Christmas spices in mine. Are you drinking that whole thing, Vicente?
Yeah.
Sir.
My goodness.
Hey, we heard his
I guess that's true. That's true.
Treacherous drinking stories last week, so this will be good.
You're a stronger man than me. That's all I can say.
I'm gonna attempt a full 11. I'll drink this whole one because I just tasted it and I know I want all of it. So, yeah,
I'm drinking my whole one, but it's not that impressive because it's an 8-ounce mini can. It's super cute.
Oh, nice.
So I bought this because I love Dragon's Milk, and the fact that it was 18.7 was like, okay, no way, this is ridiculous. So this is the first I've had it. Oh my gosh. that hits you like a truck going 100.
Yeah, does it have a lot of bourbon flavor? Because mine definitely, I taste the bourbon.
Yeah.
A lot of bourbon flavor. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to try to get through it all. That's the goal.
Ooh. Yeah. So I feel like this is something strange about this. I'm getting coconut, and there's no coconut in there, but that is the flavor I'm getting from this oatmeal cookie reserve. It says on the bottom they're going for a stout with cinnamon, brown sugar, raisins, oats, and vanilla extract. I suppose I'm getting those things, but I'm also getting coconut. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, and it's that type of sweetness that's like a magic cookie bar. You guys know what those are? Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's like chocolate chips and roasted coconut shavings and what's it called? Evaporated milk?
Okay.
Sweetened condensed milk.
Sweetened condensed, yeah. not evaporated. That's just
That's just shelf stable milk.
Yeah.
But yeah, this will be fun to sip on. It's been a long time since I've had like a bourbon barrel aged anything, so kind of remembering how to drink these. You got to make sure you smell it to get the full effect. Harkens back to our episode with Ryan Cranbeer. What was that? The first episode of season 2? We did the bourbon episode.
Yes, that was first episode of season 2. That was a rough one because we also did a couple beer reviews on that same trip. Or I was on a trip. You were at home.
Yeah.
But,
fun time. Let's get right into the music. I'm so excited for this, so I can't wait any longer.
Wait, we have to cover one more thing.
We do.
Why is this a guilty pleasure?
Oh, right. Yes.
Oh yeah. So for me, I love how strong these beers come onto you. A lot of people that I know, they're just like, I hate it because it does hit you like a truck. It's a lot of the whiskey feeling to it. So even right now as I'm talking, I'm feeling the little bits of whiskey in it. I love whiskey. I'll drink it straight. I won't put any ice in it, no mixers. I'll just drink it because I like it. As long as you get a good one. So for me, the fact that it's high ABV is just like, all right, doesn't bother me. And yeah, you can imagine if it's like our first time hanging out, which, fortunately it is our 21st time hanging out.
That is true.
Give me something that's like 18.7%. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's trying to be macho, but for me, it's just like, I like how it tastes.
Yeah, cool.
Is yours leaning towards barley wine, or is it not quite that strong? I figure it has to be at that high ABV.
I would say it definitely is.
Okay.
It's definitely, it's a lot of the alcohol taste to it. So it's hard to classify it so much as a beer, but yeah, it's great. I'm just gonna keep taking small sips.
Yeah, there you go. So one more thing. Have you ever had the Goose Island Bourbon County annual release?
I don't think so.
Black Friday.
Yeah.
Black Friday is when it's released every year. Hit up Giant Eagle Market District in Shadyside. They will have it that morning.
What was that called again?
It's Goose Island Bourbon County. It comes in like a, I don't know if it's a 500 ml or 750 ml bottle. I think it's a 500. It's designed to be shared. But yeah,
you don't have to.
You don't have to, but
I didn't the first time I bought one.
We like to.
A bottle is about $20.
Yeah, it's
and that's the original. They'll have several variants, I believe they call them.
Yeah, they have a couple different flavors, but that's always a hit around the holidays if you've got a beer aficionado family. So that's what we do a lot is we'll bring one and split it amongst 4 to 5. But,
it's also a great gift if well, we're talking to you in January, so sorry, you're done with gifts, haha. But
except for me, my birthday's in January.
So is mine, but I
mean, we good to go to music?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break and listen to this song, which is "Heart Boner," Part 2 of the Boner Trilogy by Ninja Sex Party. So we're gonna listen to that and be right back at you. So we just listened to Heart Boner, Part 2 of the Boner Trilogy from Ninja Sex Party. If it isn't abundantly clear already, Vicente, go ahead and tell us why it's your guilty pleasure.
So, this is definitely one you don't want to bring up on the first date. Like, you don't...
Yeah, I was thinking exactly that.
Picking up your date for the first time, just scroll through your library. Oh, here's a good one, Heart Boner.
Don't worry, I know a good song. Um, so this is one where it combines a great overall, the band Ninja Sex Party, NSP, they combine great music with comedy gold. So Ninja Sex Party is comprised of two members, Danny Avedon and Brian Wett. Their characters in this group are Danny Sexbang, the singer, and then Ninja Brian. So the funniest thing about Ninja Brian, I'm assuming with the fact that I've said we both have, well, all said this word sex before, this is moderately PG-13 and so on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I won't go too far, obviously, but Danny sings everything. Ninja Brian's whole thing is he just stares and does this. Well,
Okay.
so he doesn't, his character does not speak. And the funniest thing, so Danny is part of Game Grumps, which is a YouTube video game comedy duo, Aaron Hansen and Daniel Avedon, play video games, talk about stuff. It's fantastic. It's so much fun. It is not highbrow humor in the slightest. But, so Danny got his bachelor's degree in art. I think he finished out his bachelor's in some art thing, art version of sorts. And Brian Wecht is what is it? Theoretical physicist with a PhD and taught at multiple colleges. Dude is for sure like statistically a genius. And he's decided they just released a new album. But yeah, they're fantastic. They do some crazy stuff. It is so silly. It just fills me with happiness listening to it. Says Game Grumps is one of the things that I would watch with my friend Vince all the time. We just watch, and I would highly recommend, if you don't watch Game Grumps and you don't know what they're all about, watch Game Grumps Battle Kid Episode 3. You will see the deterioration into complete madness that is Aaron Hansen. And Aaron, his formulation of Game Grumps is something that speaks to me a ton. As a musician, so you guys, I'm sure, can relate to a degree. Senior year of high school, my high school overall is very, you have to go into a very big school. You have to go into well-known college and go into this huge field where you're going to get tons of money. I was ranked so low in my graduating class of 1,000 that it's not even funny. I knew people whose unweighted GPAs were a 4.0. I think I knew like 30 of them or 40 of them. I had tons of friends going into engineering, medical engineering, mechanical engineering. I have friends who are lawyers and doctors by now. And in senior year in our civics class, my teacher would raise of hands, who's going to this field, whatever. Who's going to music? All right, so musicians have about, I think she says something like a single-digit percentage of success rate. In front of the whole class, basically when you're going to do nothing and you are going to fail because this is not a good career. Class of like 40 people or something like that. Good chunk of them I knew for 4 or 5 years. So bring it back. One day, one year, randomly, Aaron was talking to one of his teachers, and teacher said, "You're not gonna," basically said, "You're not gonna mount anything. You're not gonna go anywhere. You don't have to be here, and you don't want to, so you can just leave. You're over 17, so legally you don't have to be here. You can do." So Aaron went, "All right, cool, I'm gone." And basically, his mind went, "F you, I'm gonna build something insane." And so he did um, some animation, and ultimately created Game Grumps, which, let me see, how many
Probably, I
followers?
would guess at least 10 million.
I think there's somewhere around that. I wish I had this number just pulled up that way. I'm not just typing. Sorry. Um, so on their main channel, they have about 5.5 million, but they also have like 3 channels.
Right. Yeah.
Doing pretty darn well.
That's pretty
So
good. That's pretty good.
that's not bad.
It's okay. It's just fine. You know, like,
For me, it's the whole like somebody tells you it's impossible, and you just turn around and say, "Nah, I think you're wrong."
I'll
So
show
I'm
you
gonna
what's
do something
impossible.
crazy.
We've had a fair number of people on here who have been quite motivated by spite, and I think that's something a lot of us can really relate to.
That's definitely why I don't want to say that's why I pick up my horn on the days that I don't want to, but it's a good chunk of it.
Hmm.
To be able to look at those people and say, "You don't know what you're talking about." Music is a viable career, and it is insanely essential for everyday life.
Oh,
So
so important.
I'm going to keep going with it.
Yeah.
that to me, that's the bigger point. At least that's how I look at it. I, yes, it's important for music to be a viable source of income and things of the living life nature, but also the fulfillment you get from it is the point. And that's what I think a lot of people don't really understand in the fields that are that stem off of the high school core academic classes. Like, yeah, I could get really passionate about this, but I feel like that's not the point of this episode and
Mm-mm.
not the point of where we're going today. So,
Let's get silly. Let's get silly.
yeah,
All right,
We've had a few silly songs on this before. Dead Skunk is one.
yes, Dead Skunk in the
Um,
middle of the
what
road.
was the one that Austin Blower has? Like,
Take off your pants. That one. That
Was
one's.
that a guilty pleasure? Oh wow,
I think it
okay.
was. And then Four Stars did the Dixon Dallas. What was
Oh,
the name of the
yeah.
song?
I don't know. It has the word "bussy" in it.
It does
That's
have the
all I
word
know.
"bussy" in it. Yes. Um,
Oh,
yes, that one is that one earned its E for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times in those, when we talk to people who have this kind of guilty pleasure about music and comedy coming together, and in the case of the last two, with a romantic theme entwined, we've come to the conclusion that yes, this is silly, but it's also actually quite romantic. So, do you find yourself listening to this type of music purely for the silliness, or do you find yourself kind of being also in that hopeless romantic type deal?
so I would say I'm listening. I listen to it uh, for the love of the silliness, the romance of being able to relax and enjoy it for the sake of music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mentioned earlier in the podcast that I'm on the audition circuit, so I know almost every single day what I'm working on. I could give you a week by week, nearly a day by day for what I'm doing from now Now when we're recording it, for the next 4 months, I can almost tell you exactly what I'm doing. So I know in March I have an audition and I have a guest artist spot at a at American Trombone Workshop. I am a featured guest artist and I'll be performing a solo. Thank you. Shout out to my friend Kyle Price in the Army Pershing Zone. He helped me, reached out to me, got me a spot. Actually, this last past year, 2024, got me a spot performing that, as well as I was invited back for 2025's. So I know what I'm doing constantly. And when you're on that sort of grind where you know, all right, work is at noon, I got to get up at 6:15 so I can get my 3 hours in before I head out to work, before I have to eat lunch, then head out to work. It's hard to realize why you're doing it. And to bring it back to your question, it reminds me of why I love music. Because it could be anything. It could be comedy, it could be serious music, it could be everywhere in between. And NSP combines how do I make happiness and fun into great music and combine them.
Yeah.
So it's the romance of the silliness.
Nice.
Thank you. And that's how many beers deep in this friend glass?
3. Yeah.
Although that one you're drinking on account for about 5.
That's true. Yeah.
Do you know when you drink? Whoa! Sorry, I just got a lot of the tasting. When you have barrel aged, a lot of the alcohol kind of seeps to the bottom.
Oh, really?
I
didn't know
I'm
that.
in that final stage, so it's really hitting now. But it tastes fantastic. Highly recommend.
Mm.
Yeah.
Smaller portions.
Doss, do you have anything else on the song, or should we get to ratings?
I mean, really, it's a silly guy song, and that's the best kind of song sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just I don't know. I feel like the boldest person would show this to their first date. You know what I mean? Like the
I don't know.
boldest.
To me, it's more of a third date kind of deal.
That's probably true. It's just
a pretty
like,
aggressive filter.
what'd you say?
It's a pretty aggressive filter. Like, let me weed it down to the nth percent that works out.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's like that How I Met Your Mother episode. Where is that? What it is? So you know the one guy has the playbook.
Oh yeah.
And
Barney?
Barney, yeah.
Yeah, Barney has the playbook, and one of them is called The Naked Man, and it works 1 out of 4 times.
Yes.
And that's just like, you just find a way to get in her apartment, and then just get naked when she leaves. And it's like, wow, how badly would this not fly in 2024?
Yeah.
So are you saying
2025?
Lorna is your naked man?
No. I mean, it's not that far off. I wouldn't say, but like in terms of what music you could show somebody, I would say it's one step below "Take Off Your Pants" from the Austin Blower episode, but it is a close second. I would say.
Fair enough.
With that, let's go on to the ratings.
Yeah. So I'll go first since I have the not Dragon's Milk. Once again, this is Barrel Elixir from Tight Knit Brewing Company out of Greeley, Colorado. This is Barrel Elixir, the bourbon barrel aged winter warmer. A lot of words. Yeah, it's pretty good. The flavors are really well balanced. It's not too spicy. It's not too bourbon heavy. I do wish there was some sort of like chocolatiness to it. I found that most of the stouts I enjoy are chocolatey in some way. And I am not a huge stout guy, so it's not that I didn't enjoy drinking it, but it's not something I would reach to often. So with all of that in mind, I'm going with a 3.5. But stout enjoyers would probably give it a higher rating.
Yeah, this doesn't. It almost is so flavorful that I wouldn't even say it's a stout. Like if I didn't know that I was drinking beer, I would think I'm probably drinking something else, and that is a good thing in this case. I know sometimes like you're just like it's not beer at a certain point, but this there's a lot of bourbon taste, but each one of the things that are on the label that says I'm supposed to taste, I can taste if I think good and hard about them. Which I mean, that's kind of how it goes. And I'm sure there's people out there that will skepticize saying stuff like, I don't know, like why sommeliers can't even tell the difference between red and white wine if they're blindfolded. And it's like, okay, but we're talking about beer. So I'm giving this a 4.75. I'm very happy with this.
All right, so beer wise, triple mash is pretty darn good. It's pretty smooth. It does kick a little too much, in my opinion. It's like I have that much left of it, and I'm just saying, like, do I want to finish this? Can I finish this? But
and then you think about the 3 beers we have left to go.
Oh, jeez, we still have 3 more beers.
Yeah.
Jeez.
As he finishes it, that's awesome.
Oh, no, fine.
I didn't mean to peer pressure. That's my bad, but hey, good for you,
No,
man. Please pace yourself the rest of the show.
Regardless of what am I seeing? No, it's good enough to where I don't regret just finishing it. But it's not something where I'll just grab it to drink it. This would have to be a discernible, this is when I want to have this kind of beer. So I would say I would give it a 4 purely because the fact that it's 18.7%. If it was at a reasonable 11, if it was at an 11, it would be a little easier, but it's a good taste. It just hits you pretty strong.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, we're going to rinse out our glasses, pour our next ones, be back at you for segment number 4. Welcome back to BYO Beats Podcast, your beer and music podcast. We are here, segment 4, the acquired taste with our guest, Vicente Hernandez. I have the wrong beer for this. I had a hard time getting Three Floyds out west. So how about you guys say what you're drinking, and then I'll say what I'm drinking, and we'll just start drinking.
Cool. Vicente, you've got the go-ahead because you have the only right one.
Okay. So for me, acquired taste, for me, it's a double or triple IPA, somewhere that's pretty hoppy, decently bitter. I went with the Slapasaurus Rex.
I love that name. Also, what? Wait, is the T-Rex rolling dice? Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Very nice.
So I'll do a little.
That's a nice can, for real.
Yeah,
Like,
that's awesome.
in the guitar and rolling dice. That's multiple
Beautiful
skills.
can.
Three Floyds does such a good job on their art.
Yeah.
So you have a Three Floyds as well, right, Doss?
I do. I feel like this had to be like their Halloween release or something. So this is Three Floyds Zombie Undead Double Pale Ale Ice. And look at this thing. It's freaking horrifying.
That screamed edgelord.
right?
It's pretty sick though.
Yeah, it's almost to like the Iron Maiden font, I guess, but like I don't know. That skull is
Oh yeah,
wow.
that's definitely reminiscent of the Iron Maiden font.
Yeah.
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 So I have see now I remember why I picked this one out. So um there were lots of double and triple IPAs available to me. I could not get the Three Floyds. I ended up going with this one, the Fog Sickle Sour Double IPA. This is from oh, I just had it. Here we go. Abomination Brewing Company from North Haven, Connecticut. So I don't know how that ended up out here in the Rocky Mountains, but yeah, I mean, and a little bit of a teaser for segment 6. I knew a fun name would be good for this episode, so I went with the Fog Sickle in the interest of trying something fun for the show.
Nice.
Sour double IPA. So
I will say, it definitely hints at segment 6. So
mhm.
what I have for segment 6, y'all want to stick around for that. It's a good name.
Yeah.
All right, so cheers, boys.
Oh, that is just smelling it is a kick.
Cheers, boys.
This is insanity. So on the can, I showed it briefly. It's got like your creamsicle popsicle on the can and like a weird bird skull. This tastes like a freaking dreamsicle, man. This is insane. There's like no bitterness whatsoever. I definitely get sour, but I don't taste any hops at all. It does say in the can that to expect peach, vanilla, and marshmallow. And I get more orange than peach, but, you know, fruit is fruit.
Well, so how's the marshmallow though? I feel like that's the outlier.
No, I mean, it tastes like, you know how you like, eat a popsicle? Like a
Yeah,
dreamsicle, like those creamy texture. I think the
Okay.
marshmallow really comes through in the texture, where it's super
Cool.
smooth. And that's another thing. It tastes like the mouthfeel of it is way more akin to a stout than an IPA or double IPA. So
You're making me think of that orange Bruleus that I had a few that for our listeners that was like 6 months ago. So my bad for the big throwback. But it sounds great actually. I want to try that one.
I just want to read the all of the descriptor that I have for this beer, which is 9.9%. It's only half of what the last beer was. Why did I choose these? What's wrong with
It's
me?
only half.
mine is 8.6. So it's definitely got the double IPA percentage.
Mine's
Yeah.
8.5. We're all on the same train. Well, no, Vicente is on a bullet train, and me and
That's
Johnny
true.
are on a freight train.
Yeah. But I'm excited to drink the rest of this. I do wish it had a little bit more IPA flavor, but I'm not going to complain about drinking a popsicle for the next half hour.
Right?
So the descriptor that I have is terror of the Cretaceous period. Slapasaurus conquered Laramidia with nothing more than 4 strings, a little hat, and a song.
Love the wait. Is he wearing a little hat? Did I miss that?
He is wearing a little hat.
What?
That's awesome.
Yes. Well, I think the Slapasaurus would like this next song a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as always, we'll get to our ratings at the end. But for now, we're going to take a quick break and listen to the song. So remember, this is the Acquired Taste segment. And for this selection, we have from Lorna Shore the song To the Hellfire. So we're going to listen to that and be right back. Okay, so we just listened to the Hellfire from Lorna Shore. Acquired Taste segment. Probably fairly obvious, but go ahead and give us the details, Vicente.
So this is one where I would say anything that bridges to heavy metal or past gets a bad rep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody thinks that, or not everybody, a lot of people think that anything that's super heavy is just non-stop screamo sound. Like it's possible for sure. I mean, listen to Avenged Sevenfold. Was a Sound the Seventh Trumpet or something like that? Something Sound the Trumpet. Maybe something different. It might just be that. It definitely bridges into screamo in that realm on that album. Lorna Shore, similar to NSP, combines the musicality that is so attractive to something entirely different. Where NSP has the comedy, Lorna Shore has the raw emotion, the brutality of whatever you want. It just goes for it. And man, I know, Das, we were jamming out a little bit, you and I, for this.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen his stuff with I think Emily, charismatic voice?
Is she the person that was like crying by the end of this?
Yes.
Yeah, I've definitely seen
So
it. That's why I like this so much. Is
I
yeah,
love her reactions because it's so raw of what they're feeling. A lot
yeah,
of vocalists have um, that effect. Whatever emotion is being portrayed, that's what they show.
yeah,
So, what I love most about Will Ramos is the fact that he is a total goofball.
he is. Yeah, yeah,
So, they did this little video. They not a little video. They did a video where they stuck a tube down Will's throat to understand the physics of harsh vocals. And it turns out harsh vocals aren't actually harsh on the vocal folds or your false folds. Uh, it's all about relaxation to get that sort of sound, which, as a musician who is a classically trained musician who has to play anywhere from Mozart to Strauss Ein Heldenleben, this is the hero's journey, to this is the God's entrance into Valhalla. I have to hit all those spectrums on the audition circuit, bringing everything back around. Understanding how that is not effort driven, but mental concept driven,
yeah,
is what drove me to love harsh vocals. This is something I've also loved for a long time. But I mean, I've listened to Napalm Death. I've listened to Megadeth. I've listened to tons. And Sevenfold is something that I've been listening to for 15 years at this point. And Lorna Shore, in my opinion, is what does the orchestral sounds that begin the track into the heavy hitting at the like 3/4 mark. It does that blending incredibly. And the pure talent, which also Michael Buchanan in the first segment had of, I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know somebody could do harsh vocals that low and that articulate that easily.
yeah.
Check out his one takes. Will Ramos one takes. Those are ridiculous. That is pure talent.
Yes. I couldn't recommend that more, actually. So I kept thinking about Billie Eilish, which I'm sure doesn't make any sense, but I will tell you why it does.
I get it already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it, man.
Yeah. So layering voices is a kind of necessary thing in producing music right now, at least to a commercial level. Not that this is necessarily commercial whatsoever, but it definitely, because there's so many different ways of creating a harsh vocal, they wanted to use all attributes possible. And I know there's names to the different types of screams that Will is doing. I know one is called like the pig something.
Pig squeal. There's
Yeah,
the
pig squeal.
coffin snarl.
The pig squeal I know is the high pitched one. I don't know any of the other names just because I watched like half of one of his videos where he's like demonstrating how to do it, and I turned it off, and I'll tell you why. Because if you watch the show, you know I'm mildly into beatboxing, and that was a rabbit hole I jumped down during COVID. And I knew that if I got too far into this, I would get into harsh vocal creations, and I don't have the time for that. So
that executive decision was made. You're like, I can't do another one of these.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to why, in my opinion, what Will Ramos in Lorna Shore does and why that's so attractive and should be so attractive as a classically trained musician is I have to be able to portray so many different emotions. Like, I've had auditions where I have to go from this is the entrance of the gods into Valhalla, Das Rheingold, the Rainbow Motive. It's just a D flat major arpeggio, more or less, to Mozart's Magic Flute, where here are these two beings being bonded together, going to this is Siegfried, like questioning his life's existence while he gets the sword built for him in order to conquer the world, more or less. Trying to figure out how do I convey all these emotions while being perfectly relaxed in this high stress situation where I have to beat 100 people. Terrifying, by the way.
Right?
I still have panic attacks every once in a while about that. But it's the fact that it's, sorry to ramble, but it's the fact that you have to learn how to recreate that while being internally sound and relaxed. Like, how do I get Strauss's, talking to you as a French hornist, Strauss's hero's journey of Ein Heldenleben? How do I go through all of this, including the battle scene, while being as relaxed as those were not at all the right pitches, but that was supposed to be Mozart's Magic Flute.
So when it comes to Lorna Shore, and you mentioned a bunch of other metal bands, I was curious, so I looked up what the main genre Lorna Shore considers themselves or is considered by the populace, and the answer is deathcore. So it seems that from what we've said so far, that a lot of what you enjoy about it is not necessarily the strict contents, but rather the emotions and the feelings that emanate from it. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely. I mean, another a vocalist that shows the musicality of it all is Alex the Terrible.
Yes. I've shown this song to people and they confuse the voices because they're so on the same level.
It makes no sense. My favorite video of him is one where it's just like selfie camming it and it's going like talking about something like, oh yeah, people think I'm so hard and doing all this. Oh yeah, and he shows like a mirror behind him like, oh, look at my butt. My butt is so cute. And so that sort of thing. It makes no sense. I'll try to find it and send it to you if you haven't seen it. It's so weird. But it's the fact that it's finding that balance of, I don't want to say aggression, intensity, the balance of intensity with relaxed effort.
Hmm.
And that is something that is so important to anybody listening, regardless of what you're doing. The intensity of here's the outcome, this is what it sounds like, and this is the final product. But in reality, on my side, I'm kind of just chilling. How do I maximize my efforts in order to be the most effective? Which, as somebody 3 years on the audition circuit, is the most important thing. Because, sorry to drag on, but when I was doing that, as I mentioned, Chicago lyric to Nashville Symphony, I was preparing, I want to say, was it 63 excerpts?
Sounds about right for several auditions.
3 or 4 solos, 40 or 45 different pieces, somewhere around 60 excerpts. I had to be able to just pick out, okay, this is exactly what's going on right here. Okay, Verdi Falstaff, this is the super low pedal range, piano to pianissimo. This is when he is damning the world because of what it has done to him. This is, I have to know all this. So to maximize, how do I get that feeling directly correlating and directly transitioning to this is Haydn's creation. This is God looking back at what he's created, being proud of it. It is imperative that you understand how to get the most out of your effort. And that's why, my opinion, Will Ramos, him being able to put into, I can't do the harsh vocal, but that sort of intensity is, any classical musician should understand that and study that.
Yeah.
It is insane.
So I have to bring this up, Johnny. You'll appreciate this, I think. So if you haven't listened to them, you need to. The band Hot Mulligan. Do you know them? Well, good. Okay, then I don't have to tell you that much more. He's one of the best singers that I think borders on harsh vocals, but is also just a great singer, and you can hear both if you're listening closely enough. Shout out Tades for that one. But yeah, I'm glad you do know who it is, so you don't have to. I mean, I'm disappointed you don't get to discover them, but I mean, you already have, so that's good.
Yeah.
So quickly, sorry, that bridges back into what I was talking about. How I'm going to keep hyping him up. I love him to death. Jeff D, his
Oh yeah,
piece of sound. Oh my gosh! Listen to Pittsburgh Symphony anywhere from 2016 when he took over from Murray Crew, like officially took over from Murray Crew. Murray's something else too.
sure.
But Jeff, oh my gosh, man, the way that he sounds, as easy as just, oh, that's the same effort as he puts into anything. Speak the articulation, speak the sound. That is, I would say, the number one thing that he taught me in 4 years of studying with him. The ability to convey ideas with an efficient, relaxed effort is insane.
Yeah.
I've heard him sigh the note while putting out fortissimo.
Yeah.
So loud that my watch said, "Hey, by the way, you're being exposed to loud volume."
That's awesome.
It's great.
All right, let's get to ratings. So once again, this was the double IPA was the choice. We had a couple Three Floyds selection. I was the odd man out with a sour double IPA. This is the Fog Sickle from Abomination Brewing Company. This is crazy. You don't taste the 8.6 at all. I've had a couple like super fruity beers like this that try to do like the dreamsicle type thing. We had the orange Brulius featured on this show before as well. Yeah, this is dangerous. It's really good in a way that I never thought a sour could tickle my fancy. I'm going with a 4.5.
I was pretty darn happy with this zombie ice. Three Floyds has never really let me down, and neither has a double IPA. I just really prefer the more malty side of IPAs. It's not that I don't like hops in the first place, because otherwise I wouldn't be drinking an IPA. But the fact that they take a back seat on a double IPA makes me enjoy my time drinking it a little bit more. I'm going with a 4.25.
Solid, definitely. For this, Slapasaurus Rex is definitely good. Slaps me in all the right ways. I would say there's not a lot in terms of I almost said tamburil palette, flavor palette. Tamburil palette, that's an audio term, but it works still. It's an old code, but it checks out. It's good, but it's nothing to write home about. I would qualify it as a confident 3.75. It's solid, but yeah, nothing to write home about.
You heard it here first. Vicente enjoys being slapped. 3.5.
Dude, sir, why did they agree to this again?
And with that, we're going to rinse out our glasses, pour our next ones, and be back at you next week for segment number 5.